Well, efforts to piece together what happened on the night Senzo Meyiwa was killed continue at the Pretoria High Court this morning. Lieutenant Colonel Manqoba Mchunu, who photographed the crime scene, will continue her testimony when the trial resumes. eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu is closely following proceedings in Pretoria, and he joins us for a quick update. Manqoba, what can you tell us before court starts this morning?
Well, we're expecting the evidence of another police officer who was in the house just hours after Senzo Meyiwa was killed to take the stand this morning. She started with a testimony yesterday in court where she revealed some of the work that was done by the police just hours after that murder had happened at the Kumalo house in Vosloorus on the 27th of October. That's when Tobegile Mhlahlo had arrived after being assigned to take photographs of the scene. And of course, you recall that from the evidence that we've heard in court, there is evidence that suggests that, in fact, she was the police officer who had also found the bullet projectile that was lying in the kitchen table next to the glass jars, according to the evidence we've heard. And, of course, what we've heard from the previous witness, Thabo Mosia, who also testified, he was the lead investigator as far as forensics are concerned in this case. He revealed to court that when he arrived at the Kumalo house on that morning, in fact it was just 4 hours after that incident had occurred, he had then scoured the scene. He had then photographs the scene, took only I think 8 photographs of the scene, but at that particular time he could not locate or could not find this bullet projectile. But we now understand that it was Tobegile Mhlahlo who actually made this discovery. So we're expecting to hear more details around what she found on the scene when she came and she took those photographs of the scene, but also as far as police investigations are concerned, because you recall that what the defense has been trying to do is to show that the scene was compromised and that there was contamination of the crime scene itself. In fact, yesterday we even heard assertions from some of the defense lawyers, Advocate Zandile Mshololo, asking Thabo Mosia whether he believes that somebody might have planted that bullet projectile, which seems to suggest that perhaps the defense believes that there was contamination or perhaps a planting of evidence that had occurred as the scene, we understand now, was left unattended for about 4 hours. So she's expected to continue with her testimony, but of course there's still many questions as far as how police handled that crime scene and the procedures that they followed that will be the center of the testimony here in court, as of course we continue to understand what really happened on the night that Senzo Meyiwa was killed.
And Manqoba, of course, like you said, we heard yesterday from Mr. Mosia as well. It took him 4 hours before he actually heard about what happened, and it is, mind-boggling that, he didn't go to the scene first and foremost, because apparently he went to the hospital first. Maybe just elaborate on what he said yesterday as well, and how these puzzles don't fit together when it comes to what normal police procedures should be.
I think, Baron, that was one of the questions that the defense had a difficulty with. Why did it take so long for a forensic investigator, somebody who's crucial when it comes to the collection and processing and, the sealing of evidence, crucial evidence that is likely to link these criminals, if there were intruders that came to this crime, and also to rule out those that were inside the house as being possibly involved in this particular issue. And I think, there are questions as to why really it took police so long, especially a lead forensic investigator in this case to arrive on the scene. Certainly these are questions we heard from Advocate Zandile Mshololo, who had asked Thabo Mosia to explain why such a delay, and why did he have to start at the police station? Why couldn't he find a way to get to the house? Of course, we recall that the evidence we've heard from Thabo Mosia is that he was not given the address at the time when he received a call from a brigadier in Ndlovu who had informed him that he needed to get to this particular scene. He says that he had to drive to the Vosloorus police station, and even after that he still had to drive to the hospital before even going to the scene. And of course we've heard evidence from other police officers, the constable that was also in that home just hours after this all occurred, and he had indicated in court that they actually left the crime scene with one of the Khumalo relatives. They had then gone to the hospital, so which means that this crime scene was left unattended for 4 hours. And that's really the question that the defense is asking as to whether this crime scene can be trusted. Was there no compromising of this crime scene? Was there no contamination of this crime scene, if at all? It seems that the police took so long to secure that scene. And of course we also heard questions being asked to Thabo Mosia just about his paper trail as to what he did on that day. He spoke about attending another crime scene, and the lawyer representing accused 4 saying that they now want the documents, they now want the paper trail to see what exactly Mosia had done on that particular day. And I think we also saw him pleading with the court, saying that he has tried to assist this court in any possible way. He simply cannot do it enough, and that's the reason why in fact the court has then asked that he be excused, and that possibly he'll come back at a later stage when that evidence has been concluded. So really a lot of questions being asked about the work that police did. Did they do the job properly on that day? Was there any tampering? And could that, or can that crime scene really be trusted? Those are some of the questions that of course we've heard from the defense, and we're expecting also that they will lead as far as this new witness is concerned. Of course she was also working alongside Sergeant Mosia in that particular case, so we're certainly expecting a lot of questions around what police did and how they handled that particular crime scene.
All right, thank you so much, Manqoba Mchunu, with the latest there from the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, of course, resuming this morning in the Pretoria High Court.